All right, cool. Let's take a look at these gappers because there's a lot of them. Put TNDM on the list. This is probably going to be top of the list here, guys. The reason it's going to be top of the list is, I mean, the daily chart is okay. You got 20 million share float, and you've already got really nice action pre-market. This is kind of one of those ones like you can have that will just rip right at the open. Love the look on this thing. I think that this one's going to have a chance to go. My only issue on this one's going to be is it going to be thin? Is it going to be thick? In terms of volume, it does seem to do 2 to 4 million shares, on average. So I think that this could have a chance to go. I like this one because I think it's going to move a little bit better than Twilly Ho. Twilly Ho is also gapping up on earnings. Now remember when Twilly Ho goes, a lot of times it just takes off. If you remember, guys, in November last year, it gapped up and then it just never looked back the whole day pretty much and closed near high. So it does have that kind of ability to run 10, 15 points, after it starts a gap. So keep an eye on this one. It's been hanging out here so far. It's been running up in anticipation of its earnings for quite a few days. So, we'll have to be careful of kind of a double Lutzy at the open, a dip and rip, right? A dip and rip could happen, or a little bit of a shake and bake. If you get a shake and bake, then just you'll have to stop out quick and then reload when you need to reload. But Twilio in general does, it's not a huge float stock, so it will ORB and get rolling. Hey, Raj, what's up? Suchale! Kasunati! Let me check Starbucks. I'll check it in a sec. AMD, this one's breaking over its trend line over here today. It is fading off a little bit pre-market, so we faded off kind of $1.25 pre-market. That's okay for the most part. What we'll have to be careful of on this is it is a thicker float stock, 500 million share float, so it can grind a little bit. But when you get the thick stocks, guys, what will often happen is they will push at the open, you get say a 15, 20 minute push, then they sit around for a good chunk of the day. So you got to really roll in with a hot opening trade on these things, but you can't chase it, right? And if it starts to dip that first candle, you leave it alone. But just be mindful of this. This one does tend to have it does have days where you can spike $2, $3. It'll happen quickly though, so you'll have to catch that bad boy. ACAM is busting out to all-time highs over here. You're at now 86, only 156 million share float. It actually does move decently well. You'll have liquidity enough where you won't have to chase too much of a spread or anything like that. I think this one's got a chance. RCL, this is a secondary setup. I would give this a B to B plus. If it comes out of this trend line, I think it's going to be good to go. It does actually move really well. We've traded this in the past, and it's got a decent enough range to it. It's not a really thick stock in general. You have to be aware of a float on a spread on this one. NUS is a secondary play also. This earnings was out today. 52 million share float. It's a $3 billion company. You are kind of breaking over a couple levels of resistance, but it's not a breakout to highs or even yearly highs, all-time highs, anything like that. So you have to be careful with that. If it doesn't get like that, then it's more of a B to B minus. The intraday setup would have to be really hot. It does have room up to the 200 SMA, so you still got $7 worth of room to potentially take this, right? We only take it though. I would take this one. It's going to be thin enough in terms of its range. I would take this one on an ORB if I saw it. A thicker stock I usually like pullbacks on, but something like this, it has the profile where you can rip this on an ORB right at the open. Remember, ORB though, you need 3 candles, right? 3 candles minimum at the open. PCRX, I'd give this a kind of a B minus to C plus. It's a biotech, so it can move, and it's had monster runs in the past. You are kind of coming out of this range and breaking out basically to yearly highs, but you are coming into this big nut zone over here, right? It's just you're just teabag. It's just coming into the teabag zone over here. So I'm a little bit mindful that it's in a longer term range, and you're just kind of I mean, you're just like shredding back into range, and that's, I would have rather this fucker gapped up, over 53 to really get going versus kind of like under. I give it a C plus. I think it's something worth bear watching to see how it sets up. You never know with biotechs. I think it's sometimes just like, they put the algos on those things and they just start to go randomly. So you always get one. On the short side, the only fund two that I like, SSNC, is breaking under 3 different moving averages. You have a lot of room to the 200 SMA at 54. I think that this one's got a chance. The issue is going to be like how liquid is it at the open. Only take it if it's doing 500,000 shares or more. We made the mistake with TXRH yesterday. It was just kind of running in at 400, 500 at the open, and it looked like it was ORBing, and then it just kind of sat around. I mean, I didn't lose much on it, like 30 cents, but it just didn't have, like the best earnings plays, I mean, they get shredded on volume. Like, you start to see it just pour in. And then what happens is, like, when they're light at the open, you get a little bit of a spread in it, and then it's like a couple thousand shares buy can push it up, and then you're like all pissed about it, and you end up kind of shaking yourself out a lot because of the spread. You don't want to lose more than, you say you have a 30, 40 cent stop, but the spread is 30, 40 cents. You want to lose that extra 30, 40 cents. And so just be mindful of that. That's kind of my worry with SSNC. This HRTX had some news out with the FDA that the FDA says you're going to need a little bit more information on your application. And so this thing's getting flummoxed over here. You got a flat bottom breakdown, or basically like a longer term head and boulders. Anything under this 20 is good. It's kind of popping up a little bit in the pre-market already because the SSR is going to be on this thing. Watch this thing. This thing may just squeeze and dump at some point. My only issue with this, I hate when they start squeezing too much pre-market because you get this kind of inherent support zones that you don't see like once the market starts to open. So those are the gappers for today. On the other side, day two plays. Yum C broke out of its flag yesterday, had a big end of day run. That's a day-long consolidation play. This one moves smooth. It's got a lot of liquidity. You're not going to see too much spread or any shenanigans on it. Still got Tesla on watch for a short. I'm almost thinking not to short Tesla, though, because he burned Jim Cramer the other day, and I thought that was kind of funny. But you can see if you can break under this trend line. This thing's got probably a date with 200 or 180 at this point. Sad to say, but guess we're not going to space. Shop. Awesome move here. He had 20-point range on this thing yesterday. Damn, right? Right off the gate. Right off the gate, you had a 20-point range. I think this one might have a day two in it. Let this thing open up red, though. Watch it for the red to green. And then, guys, all the other stuff that we've been playing every single day, JMIA and Zooms and stuff like that, I think are going to still be in play. This Zoomies is probably going to break out here in the next couple days. So, those are like daily traders. So, we want to definitely keep those on the list and let them roll. Otherwise, everything else is just all systems is a go for now, guys. I would keep an eye on really still all the IPOs. They were moving yesterday, besides Tiger. Tiger is a big turd, but the rest of them were going. I think that we'll have a chance at them. So just keep, I would keep full list. CBD's a turd, right? CGC is always a turd. TNDM, it's not about whether it goes up, right? Russell, you got to see it either an ORB pattern or a quick pullback buy at the open, right? That's the only way you can take it. So don't take it just to take it, right? What you need to see is ORB or quick pullback buy at the open. Midday, you want either flags or VWAP patterns, end of day, day-long consolidations, or breakout and fades. Nothing in between. Comprendes, amigos? Good. Guys, trade well today. You know what we got to do? I'll be in the chat room doing my thing. Oh, yeah. And yeah, if anybody needs me, just send me an email, canal@bullson.ws. RCL, SPC. Man, our lists are getting a little rowdy. There's just too many stocks to watch, all right? Cool. Let's go do what we got to do, guys. Be good. We'll do some shredding today.